College football 25 fans, welcome to today's video. And we got college football 26 right around the corner. Super excited for kind of the new game, and we'll be breaking down all the stuff you need to know about it here on the channel. I think the biggest thing, guys, is that college football 25 was a good foundational game. It's a good game to build on. There were some things that they did really, really well. There was also some things that we would like to see kind of changed going forward into college football 26. So this video is just going to kind of be my thoughts in general on college football 25 and what I thought they did well, what I will hope to see different. I think one of the coolest things that they did in college football 25 that was kind of an underrated thing that did totally I guess just make me really like the game a lot more than I thought I was going to is all of the like pageantry, I guess is what they like to say. All of the pageantry or all of like just the cinematography, how every stadium, every team kind of has a unique feel to it. I do think overall that was really cool. The thing I don't love about that, especially from like my dynasty guys, and I think in general, this is just one of my biggest, like just one of the things that I just did not like about this game. I felt like the hot route system in general, the pre-play system on really both sides, especially offensively, just not great. Like if you're, like the fact of the crowd noise making it so that you can't hot route. I feel like that was an issue. For me and for a lot of people, honestly, if you really look at it, as I get crazy shedded. I'm playing Texas here, and they're pretty insane. But that's one. Like just the hot route system in general. I just feel like it could have been a lot better than it really was. I will say one of the biggest pros of college football 25 was probably the movement. The movement system as a whole, I thought was really, really good and a great, just kind of like great change from playing Madden for so many years. This was super refreshing. I think most people would say in general, the movement was super refreshing for college football 25 by far. That being said, I think that the even though the movement was really good, I think the run game was a little bit more powerful than it probably should have been. I think some of the I'm not even necessarily mad at some of like the cuts you could make. I think it's really just more an issue of like tackling broken tackles. There's a lot of broken tackles in this game, especially on like breakaway plays. I don't know, that might be intentional because they are trying to make it quote unquote more arcadey, but I think in general, like you should be able to. I don't know. I just feel like stopping the run should be a little bit more straightforward than it kind of is in this game. I feel like that's something that I would like to see changed. I feel like you could basically run duo, stretch, inside zone, and have a pretty good run game that's pretty hard to stop consistently because of the combination, which I think was actually cool. The skill moves being good, I think made the game more fun. So that's where it's kind of like it's hard to sometimes know what do you want to keep, what do you want to change, because the ball carrier moves makes the game fun, but at the same time, it can make the game. If you go too far that way, you can make the game too arcadey. So those are just some of my basic thoughts out the gate. I do think there was a couple of abilities in college football 25 that were really needed. They kind of need some overhaul. One of the main ones, excuse me, one of the main ones being takeoff. I think takeoff was super powerful. I think I think takeoff was so powerful of an ability that it did to a degree like just made the game worse. Offense is already really easy in this game, and I think takeoff makes it even easier. And again, I just think it's one of those abilities that not really not really a great point for that ability, in my opinion. I don't know why I can't throw the ball, and then of course he throws it too late, and then we ag him. That's kind of the story of the game too. I don't know, but those are some of my initial thoughts about college football 25. I'm curious to see what you guys what you guys would think need to be improved. I wish mesh worked better. Mesh is such a good play in real life, and I feel like in both. I will say, College Football 25 got mesh more right than Madden 25 does. So for what that's worth, I wish they could get these mesh routes right, these option routes. I just have never really seen a video game be able to truly give you a good representation of what the play would be in real life on something like that. But yeah, it's a super wide open game. I feel like there's a lot of big plays, which is probably something they want. Um, but I think there's got to be like checks and balances. I just think takeoff's so powerful, and what takeoff kind of does is because they get that super speed burst, it kind of limits what you can play defensively. Like, can you kicking being hard is actually kind of a W, even though I just missed that kick. Um, can you realistically like can you realistically run anything but cover three, cover four, or cover two? Like you pretty much have to be in zone. It's hard to defend takeoff and man, in my opinion. But then the double pass stuff, like there's just a lot of stuff like that where it's like it's just kind of hard to, in my opinion, deal with. We got Texas's playbook. So I again, that's probably my biggest pet peeve with the game this year. And I know it's such a minor thing ultimately, but the fact that you can't choose your playbook just I feel like really, really sucks for this mode. And I've said that from the very, very beginning of College Football 25. Like the fact that you can't choose your playbook is pretty bad. Because it just completely removes a customization element that a lot of people love. Also, will say ultimately, I think that this 3-3-5 mint defense is probably the best defense, just because it's really good with the auto flip. Didn't love that. I also think just in general because there's not really like KOs. I think that's a big issue with this game because if you had KOs, a lot of things kind of get solved. But because you don't have KOs, like see like that right there's a catch. Like that should never be a catch. Like I think that's kind of one of the bigger, to me, one of the bigger issues with the game is it's just like I guess the best way I could think to explain it is there's not really risk reward. Like you can throw right at people and it doesn't really, you're not really, like in Madden, it's still an issue, but it's not as bad of an issue. And I just think if College Football 25, which I don't know that they necessarily want the game to do this, if it's ever going to truly be like a main game, which I actually think it could be. I think there's a lot of people that like college football more than Madden, and there's a lot to like about college football. So if it's ever going to be like a mainstay kind of main football game, I think stuff like that kind of has to change. Like, kind of got to get. I guess the best word I could use is like clean it up a little bit. Like I feel like it's a really fun game, and there's a lot of good things to build on. But I feel like it's not a very polished game, and I think that is ultimately like probably the best way to kind of put it for college football is it's a fun game. It's not necessarily a polished game, and because of that, you get the play clock bug, which I think is super bad. You get kind of the run game stuff. You get some of that. See, look what Takeoff just did to that guy. He's just in the dirt. Like he's just gone. Like he didn't even like, he just doesn't even have a chance to cover him. I think the best way to run this would be do like a crosser here. I love mesh. I just feel like it's such a good play. Such a good play in real life. I feel like in game it's okay. It's like and see I caught that. Like that should never be like that should probably be an interception. Really like this cross right here. And then again, you see see how I'm kind of saying like the hot routes are just they just take forever, man. They really do. I will say one of the other really like big benefits I think to college football. I think the playbook guy, at least on offense. I don't know that I could say the defense was really. There were some cool defenses though, like there were some unique defenses, but the playbook guy really did a really good job. I think the defense that I want to try out next year a little bit more is really going to be this the Iowa State stuff with the three high safeties. I think that'd be fun. Got bench pivot and smash return. That's kind of all you need. And spacing switch, but I don't have a good table route from spacing switch in here. I do have this Georgia playbook broken down in our school community. If you're not a school member yet, it's only $10. Get you access to all of my offensive and defensive ebooks, both for college football and for Madden. Whenever you sign up, you get everything on the site immediately for both games. So if you guys want to check that out, that's going to be in the description down below. And again, it's only $10. Gonna have a huge year, I think, this year, just in terms of putting a ton more content in. I kind of got a good idea of what you guys want to see in there. I feel like I have probably as good of an idea of I've ever had is like what you guys actually really value in there. And so we're gonna amp that content up a ton. I'd expect a ton of scheme breakdowns this year, a ton of like ebook breakdowns on different playbooks and things like that. I think that's something that I want to put a big emphasis on. It's just trying out different stuff, using different schemes, kind of trying to keep up on that a little bit more than I did even this last year. I feel like I always do the most in terms of like scheme variety, but I don't feel like this year I did as good as I could. So I'm really excited to see what we come up with this coming year. I think it's going to be really, really good for you guys. But anywho, let's see here. Yeah, this 3 through 5 minute is what makes this 3 through 5 minutes so good. Is the best way to baseline in this game is to flip it the play, and you don't have to get the safeties in the box. So it's a super easy flip because when you flip the play, like when you come out in the play and flip the play, um, it basically makes it so that it's let me see if I can. Oops. It basically. Oh no, my middle third just disappeared. Overthrow. Overthrow. I don't know where my middle third went. I think I accidentally messed it up. But when you flip the play, it basically baselines the play for you, the formation. And so because this crossfire is so simple, I feel like it just makes a really, really nice. The one thing I forgot is this safeties thing. I gotta get in the right package. You're gonna try to throw it again. Very good. Let's see. I think the package is slot cornerback. Nice. Very nice. I will say this Georgia playbook has a crazy good forgot they have this tray open that's super fun. Although this auto motion, it would be super amazing. Like it's super good in Madden, not as good in college football. Kind of messed him up right there though. I need to run it out of this. I think spread formations are a little better in college football than they are in Madden too, just because the wide hash marks, you can really take advantage of that space. I messed the kick again. Oh, I made it. Yeah, field goal kicking being a little bit hard, I think, is cool. There's a lot of things I liked about the game. Ultimately, I just think some of the biggest things, like one of my biggest stories, I feel like about college football that I could say, pretty pretty emphatically is there are so many times where I've been in a college football game and I feel like I am the better player, and I look up and we're like in a very close game, or or I'm losing, and I just think it kind of highlights, there's not a huge skill gap. There is skill gap in this game, but it's not massive by any means. And I think that is a little bit of an issue. But anyways, those are some of my thoughts. We'll be breaking down the College Football 26 trailer tomorrow. Thanks for watching the video. If you guys want to join the website, the link is in the description down below.